Wait a second, it's not Friday. Then why is there a time lapse on the channel? Whatever guys, welcome to the next video. I decided to film a little bit of a time lapse to kind of kick off a few videos that I'm filming for the Hunger Games. And I know it's a little bit early considering Catching Fire comes out in November, but I wanted to get things a little started a little earlier on the channel. And of course I will have a few videos coming around November when the movie comes out. So this is going to be a Catching Fire time lapse. I made actually a Hunger Games wallet a long time ago. It was probably actually before I actually started making the official time lapses each week. And it was a pretty well received video. It got a lot of different views, so I'm actually going to be making a Catching Fire logo time lapse of this one. You saw I cut out the orange tape first, and I actually ran out of orange tape for this video, so I kind of had to work with it a little bit better. But I actually did that first because I want to have that kind of that circular background here of where I'm going to put the bird in the center, and you can see the image there. So the image is kind of like a whole bunch of different colors. It's kind of like a reddish orange background. It kind of bleeds together. So I wanted to kind of, just kind of have this giant circle in the middle here. So kind of had to use whatever orange I had. That's all the orange I had left. So I just drew, a rough oval here to kind of just give it a cool background, and then I'm going to cut that out. So yeah, I know Hunger Games came out in about 2008. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the Hunger Games here. It came out in 2008, and I don't remember a lot of people talking about the books back then. I remember someone mentioning it, and I kind of remember the name being tossed around a little bit, but I don't think I knew anybody who was interested in it back in 2008. And then, of course, about 9 months before the first movie came out, I did kind of hear a lot of talk about it, and that's when I kind of got a little bit more familiar with it. I own all three of the books. I've only read the first book because I didn't want to spoil it. I wanted to kind of wait as long as I could before reading the second and third. So I've owned the books for about a year now, close to a year now, but I haven't read the second or third book. So I've let it go as long as possible. I'll probably read the second book a week before the movie comes out, and then I'll wait until the third movie comes out and read the last book a week before that. So kind of spread out the suspense as long as possible. It's definitely an interesting story. It's not as complex a read as, say, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, for example, which I'm a huge fan of. It's definitely really easy to read. It's probably like second or third grade reading. But what the Hunger Games has going for it, though, is that it's a really interesting story, and the book really never stops moving. So if you never try, the Hunger Games books, I'm saying book because, like I said, I've only read the first one, but it's definitely an interesting story. If you've seen the movie, the book pretty much follows the movie really well, so there's not too many different things in the book than there is in the movie. So for this part of the video, I have a little bit of an interesting dilemma here because I have the black piece, and then I want to kind of use that ring around the side, so I kind of decided to layer it here to make it as good looking as possible. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting series. Like I said, not as complex as Lord of the Rings, and that's, I think, why it's a huge hit with a lot of the kids and a lot of the young adults as well. Definitely very simple reading. Like, we're not talking about like very complex reading at all. It's very simple to read. But like I said, it moves really quickly, and that's one of the great things it has going for it. Alright, so cutting out the wings first. There's a lot of stuff going on in the middle of the bird here, which I'm not going to be able to work with because there's just so many different little lines. I'm pretty much just going to go with the simple method of having one just giant bird in the center, and that's going to be about it. So not going to be too complex, but you see the entire image of the circle looks a lot like a bicycle wheel with the spokes and everything. I have to cut out all those individual lines, line them up so that they're all, straight up and down and straight across, and then go from there. So that takes a little while here. And the talons are kind of hard to cut out as well because they're really tiny. Alright, so I'm trying to figure out what else I can talk to you about the Hunger Games. I've read the first book, I think, 4 times. And it seems like it gets easier to read every time I read it because I think I've got like part of it memorized at this point. So literally, I think it took me about 4 or 5 hours the first time to read it, and I read it all in one sitting. And then now, if I read it again, it would probably be close to 2.5 hours, if that, to read the whole thing straight through. So yeah, very simple to read. So sticking that on. You know, it's funny, a lot of the, even though I haven't read the second and third books, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about the spoilers regarding it. It wasn't like, you know, back in the day when the last Harry Potter books were coming out, where people were literally like locking themselves in their houses to make sure that they didn't, you know, hear any spoilers or anything about the Harry Potter books coming out and who died and all that stuff. But with Hunger Games, it really doesn't come up a lot in conversation. Like, I've talked to a lot of my friends who read the books and love the movies and, you know, and read all the books and everything, and it doesn't come up. You know, it's not like I have to say, you know, oh, don't spoil it for me because I've never read it or I haven't read it yet. But it's just not something like that people are very keen on spoiling it for other people, I guess. Kind of unusual. All right. So, cutting out all those different little pieces now. There's an old Japanese movie called Battle Royale, I think it's called, which is kind of very similar to the Hunger Games. Came out years before the Hunger Games was thought up, and it's very, very similar. So that was kind of like the first, I guess, concept for the movie. You could make the argument that both of the two creators of these two different things came up with them independently, but Battle Royale, I think is what it's called, came first. And that was kind of like it was very, very similar to the exact plot line of the Hunger Games. Not exactly the same, but the whole fact of, you know, kids running around and killing each other, like for competition and everything, it focused very heavily on that. I think it was a really violent movie. I haven't seen it yet. Probably not exactly a kid's movie. So sticking those on now. These all have to be kind of rounded, so I kind of skipped ahead a little bit to, you know, make it a little bit faster here. But it takes a long time to stick all these little pieces. Instead of just, you know, using the paper images to cut out all these different pieces, I kind of just, you know, cut out a whole bunch of small strips and then applied them where I needed them to be, because it would have taken, you know, too much time to just put the paper image down and then cut out all these little lines when I could just do it, you know, normally here. The curved one's the only one I have to use the paper for, because there's no way I'm going to be able to freehand something that complex and then have it be, you know, perfectly on the first try. So working on the end of the video here, we have about 45 seconds left roughly. Sticking this on, making sure that it's all curved and looks really nice. I think there's actually one more part after this, if I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's one more. About 40 seconds to go. This is the last piece. It's definitely a pretty complex time lapse just because of all those, you know, those circular patterns and everything, all those little lines. Even when you don't do anything with the bird itself, it's definitely a lot of complex stuff in there. So like I said, this will be kicking off, you know, some of the videos, tutorials and other videos I have coming pretty soon for the Hunger Games, and there's the Catching Fire logo time lapse. Hopefully you guys liked it, and like I said, there will be a couple tutorials, a few other related videos coming for the Hunger Games in the next few days, so watch out for those, and I'll catch you next time on the channel. Hopefully you guys liked it.